What is going on, everybody? In this video, we're providing you a state of the market and stock picks for November 2nd, 2022. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, consider subscribing because I do provide daily and weekly updates to get you prepared for the day and the week ahead in this glorious market. A lot of really interesting just data in general. A lot of manufacturing data is not good. A lot of earnings are not good yet. We've continued to run for the past couple of weeks. We have been in a earnings slash hopium mode, and now we are getting ready to see what we got tomorrow. Tomorrow is a very big pivotal day. I think it's going to set the tone for the remainder of the year on policy. A lot of the big reason why we've had such big push up is because people are believing that we are pivoting away from raising monetary policy. My opinion is we are not. I don't believe the Fed have the space to do that. A lot of people have been reaching out to the Fed, telling them to dial back and understanding what these rate raises at a rapid pace, what can do to the economy. Now, it'll be interesting to see the way they take it. They've been very hawkish to this point. They've made that very transparent. Again, they want to push it, in my opinion, a little bit further, at least to the remainder of the end of the year, before even considering dialing back, because we got to see where core inflation is. We haven't had a core inflation, and we won't get that till next week. We'll get two core inflations before the next policy. So whatever they do this week or whatever they do tomorrow will kind of help dictate what goes on for the remainder of this year and how they can handle next year. And I think they'll continue to press full press court here until the end of the year. And then that way that they could really determine where they're going to go from that point. So being said, I think we will come in at 75 tomorrow. If they dial back, I think it would be a huge mistake tomorrow. But again, we have to see. Again, we don't know for sure. There's a lot of what if scenarios can happen out of what comes tomorrow, but it will definitely set the pace at the remainder of the year. Now you have to remember the remainder of the year is typically isn't very crazy. It's pretty flat for the most part. It really doesn't do a whole lot. Not to say that it's any different really much from this year, but we'll see more of that until at least towards the back half of the year. A lot of people are starting to go on holiday, and on holiday the market really doesn't move that much. So with that being said, we will look and see what the market's got for us and go from that point. But from that point being said, tomorrow is a big day. Monetary policy, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you're going to get the rates, and then at 2:30 you will get Powell discussing those rates. So we will see what happens and what comes of that. Things are still bad and continuing to get worse. So more so on the rates right now, and understand rental units and other things as such are becoming more expensive. So yes, a lot of your regular expenses are coming down, but it doesn't help again that your wherever you're currently living is extremely expensive, and it's not getting cheaper. Now, being said, the dollar. All right, so we can look at technicals here. Tomorrow, what I'm really looking at is this 3,800 mark. If we blast below that tomorrow, I think we're headed right back down, at least to the 3,600 mark. Again, that's kind of been our go-to point. I think we're headed back down there tomorrow. Not saying it will. We can. If for some reason they do dial back, I think we can push pretty far. I believe we could probably hit 4,100 if that's the case. Again, we haven't broke out 4K in a minute. It's been a little while since we've seen that. So we could potentially go back to 4K and retest that. Again, I expect a hard rejection off that 40-30 since it's the first kind of real pull away from it, and then the retest. If we do dial back, really just depends on how, again, the market what comes out of the report and how the market interprets it. Again, this is a very confusing time. You have to let the market digest what's going on and not assume it's going one way, because it's a pure gamble. by doing that, it's better to wait the market, digest it, and then see what happens, or give it at least an hour after the report, after Powell, and then kind of see where things are at 3 o'clock. With that being said, we want to see if it holds that level again. This 3,900 is a hard wall. We got rejected hard this morning. The market really wanted to push, and then all of a sudden, I think it was a 10 o'clock candle. It faltered. Right. We also had some bad PMI as well, or some bad industry data come out as well. Manufacturing data come out. Today that didn't help. Again, a lot of the earnings for China were bad too. That's been going on over the past couple of days as well. So nothing's looking good. And the ECB inflation rate is still continuing to climb, which leads me to believe that we are still on the cusp of getting another major spike of inflation here that we haven't even seen yet. So we're going to have to see how that plays out. The dollar, let's take a quick look at the dollar real quick. The dollar's pushing right back up, like I said. As long as it can stay above essentially that 112 mark tomorrow, I think this thing is going to get gas to make a newer high. Again, if that does happen, they could potentially drop the market back down because that means higher inflation for the rest of the world and going to affect us in general. Oil still sitting at 88, it's pushing back up again. Again, I don't think we've seen the peak of a lot of these things yet. We'll get signs of relief, but overall, I think we're going to see another major spike here before anything. Tesla had a nice little pop, but then sunk right back down today. Tesla needs to hold this 230 tomorrow. If it can't hold that tomorrow, I see this thing headed back down to 220. If it does hold it, that'd be great. I think you're going to get a lot of resistance here again at the 247. If the market does flip and reverse, I think you're going to get a monster rip up to 247 tomorrow. So as long as you're holding above 230 tomorrow, I think it could be a solid move tomorrow. So watching that. Snow, I was in shares in this today. I had a nice little pop today. I got out, perfect retest on the daily, and then sold off. So I'm no longer in this position. I still want to keep an eye on this position, even if it does sell off. If it sells off, I'm kind of really watching this lower zone, the 120. I really want to buy here if it does come back down here. But we have to see if that's the case or not. So want to keep this one on watch if we do start selling. Apple is another one. I don't typically bring these ones up, but I want to throw a couple extra ones in here today. Apple, again, looking really strong and then just completely sold off. So Apple needs to hold the 148 tomorrow. Again, this is a safe haven. If this starts selling off, we're going to be in trouble. So you have to be mindful of that. So watching, again, that 147, see if we can hold that. If not, if it breaks below that, again, I think we're in trouble at that point. BA, again, looks much like the market's just kind of hovering, waiting to see what happens. Again, it hasn't really been moving a whole lot. So I think once the market does pick a direction, this thing, you'll get more volatility in BA. So kind of watching that. And the banks, JPM looking really strong, which is a positive for the market. And that's where we kind of bounce back, not completely selling off because the banks have been super strong. So watching again this 125 on JPM, if that does break down below, I think it's had a massive run. And I think, even looking at Fibonacci here, right, so even a 68% retracement, so you're looking at 112. I think you're going to at least get a 112 pullback on this thing. This thing's just gone absolutely parabolic, and it can't do that forever. So eventually this thing's going to come down, and that's when the rest of the market's going to come down. GS the same way, massive rip, looking to come back down. So just be mindful of that. And then that's pretty much what I got. Again, these daily videos, there's not really much changing. Tomorrow's video will probably be more because there's a very pivotal event tomorrow that will change. Like today was an event. It didn't have as much weight, but it was so outside of expectations that it caused an event. And that's the only way the data is really going to cause an event at this point, aside from the very pivotal data. Like the pivotal data I talk about is a monetary policy that can shift the market to continue a very strong rally, or can pull the market right back down. And I'm talking momentum for a couple of days, not just in intraday moves. A lot of these data sets are just intraday moves. where the ones that I bring up and the ones I talk about are pivotal, which means you'll get multi-day runners. That's what I'm looking at, and not just intraday. Intraday is great, fine and great, but the pivotal ones are that matter because you can capture bigger moves on pivotal moves, and so that's what I look for. So with that being said, if you made this far, I do appreciate you. Go ahead and drop a like button, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.